the Lord. So always get into the house of the Lord. I promise you, you'll never be the same after being there. The Delani sisters, before that with King of Kings and the Jesus Collective featuring Loyiso Bala singing the song, You Are Good. Right, the time right now is 17 minutes past 11 o'clock here on Reaching Higher on Link FM. And on Monday, we motivate you, we encourage you, empower you, we equip you. And you know what? I was like, this year, let's do things differently. Okay, I know we have, a lot of young people perhaps sitting at home and, you might be feeling as though you want to do something different. Change is good. What better way to do that than bring about a new feature, and that is, for career guidance, career insight. And, I met a beautiful lady last year. Her name is Khodani, and, and I saw her passion for career insight, career guidance, and I was like, I would love for her to impart her knowledge, her experience, what she has learned along her journey with the listeners of Link FM. So, good morning, Khodani, and welcome to Link FM.
Morning, Bantu. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. I feel excited to be here. This is really something that I had written on my vision board. I did tell you when
we had
our chats, and it's so exciting. I feel like God has really shown me the power, that if you dream it, you visualize it, and you write it down, it happens.
Amen.
So,
and you're going to be also in sharing that insight, that that knowledge that you've experienced over your career journey. So take us through your journey, but starting off with letting the listeners know who Khodani is.
So I'm Khodani LinkFM. I'm a mom to two beautiful boys and also a wife. So I was born and raised in Limpopo in a small village of Chitareke in Venda.
Wow.
So, growing up, I couldn't speak English when I moved to Cape Town. So I had to find my way and learn English. So I studied mechanical engineering.
Wow.
And now I also furthered my studies in postgraduate diploma in in business administration.
Okay.
And I plan to do my master's in business administration this year.
Yeah. A well-knowledge, beautiful young lady.
So I work at one of the biggest automotive industries in the world, not just in the country, in the world. And I work as a team manager, so I manage
a great team, and you lead them. And you're so young, and I think this comes from you putting this vision down. So take us back, all right? Take us back to your journey. I remember you were telling me off air that there was a point where you were in an internship at this big, corporate, and then you lost that. You lost the internship, but then you went back to the drawing board. So take us back to that moment. So what happened?
So basically, after my studies, I got an opportunity to work at this big automotive company, but I didn't have the right intentions. I didn't have the why when I started my journey there. So I was just there working as I go. I didn't have any development plan for myself. Where do I see myself in the next 6 months, in the next year? And my contract came to an end without even realizing it, that it had come to an end, and I had to leave the company. So I was unemployed for like 5 months, and it was quite tough, looking for employment and knowing like the unemployment rate in South Africa is quite high.
It's very high.
And then I got an opportunity to work as a technician, which it went well. I had a lot of lessons learned from the company, but still what I wanted to do was to go back to the bigger company. Now I was working for a supplier. So I went and worked for 2 suppliers. I worked again as a process engineer. But my main goal was to go back to the bigger company. And what I had to do, I had to go back to the drawing board and really write my goals, where I see myself, just try to envision myself like 10 years later from, where I was. And looking at myself 10 years later, I played it back. What I had to do was to go, how do I go back to the company? The biggest opportunity for me to go back to the company was for me to go back to be a graduate, to work as a trainee. So I went back, but because I knew better and I knew exactly what I wanted and I had written it down, then I had the right discussions with my manager as to where do I see myself. But it does not only end up with just you telling them what you want, but also
Putting in the work.
putting in the work, putting
Yes.
a lot of initiatives. So my manager saw what I was capable of, and also that I brought in some experience. And I'm not looking at myself as just a graduate. And also I had a development plan. I had a timeline for review for my
Wow.
development, ask for feedback else also, and where I can improve. So within the space of 5 years, I think I have changed position 4 times, and
Wow.
it's like going up the ladder.
Amen.
So now that's when I looked at how this can work for other people. So
Mhm.
that's where I started Career and Corporate Hub, just a hub of information on how to climb your career ladder. Because a lot of people sit back and really wait for somebody to tell them
Yes.
this should be your next step. But you need to be in control of your
Mhm.
development.
And where you see yourself, you know?
Correct.
Because
correct.
I mean, imagine if
Yeah.
somebody else tells you, okay, so you're going to become this, and then you realize later on in life, but this is not what I signed, and this is not what I
Exactly.
want or envisioned.
Exactly.
So it's rather you align yourself to
Yeah.
that.
Yes, and it starts with really looking at the matriculants, or I actually love working with
Young
grade 10
people.
young
Okay.
people, because now that's where you start like trying to change their mindset to have a bigger picture thinking. When you're now in grade 10, you look at it as it's just 2 years to grade 12, and then you go to university, but you don't look at the number of years that you have left in for you to get to a workplace.
Yes.
And it's like really so quick. So quick.
So let's go back to now when you're talking about, matriculants.
Yeah.
And last week, the matrics got their results. And some people might have been like, they're happy, they're excited
Yeah.
with their results.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh my word, I don't know what's next for me. I mean, I was there in that position after matric.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to go. My dad was like, okay, go and study this. And then now that I think about it, I was like, I shouldn't have gone and studied that.
Yeah.
If only I had known, if only I had the correct guidance,
Yeah.
career guidance as
Yeah.
well, maybe I would have made a better decision. So if
Correct.
somebody's in that position, if they're in matric
Yeah.
right now or in their grade 11 year, and they are thinking, what's next for me?
Yeah.
What steps should they take? What career guidance would you give them, or insight as
Yeah.
to how they should be planning the next phase of their year?
I actually love that question. As I mentioned, that you have to look at you have to have a bigger picture thinking. So now I have I think my 4 mentees who wrote matric now,
Wow.
and 2 of them. I started the mentorship program this year, 2024. They're not sure of what they're going to study,
Wow.
and one of them has got I think 4 distinctions from the matric results.
Mhm.
And what she wanted to study is I think she wanted to do nursing. But what I advised her, look, what type of background do you come from, right? Do you come from a background where your parents can afford your education, or you come from a background where you need to work and support your family afterwards? And she has to look at that. But in order for choosing, how do you then choose which careers are in demand if you come from a poor background? And now you're at a place where last minute you have to choose a career. So for me, depending on the background that you come from, don't choose your passion. Choose the career that will give you a job afterwards.
Okay.
And how do you choose that? Look at the bursaries that the companies are offering, because you need funding. So now, if you look at the bursaries that the company are offering, go and check the list of maybe 5 companies, what they're offering, which is very much common. It's always engineering, accounting, I think law as well. So look at that, and now play it from 10 years. Are you going to be happy as a lawyer? Is that what you want?
Okay.
Are you going to be happy as an engineer? Is that what you want? If you don't really have an idea of what is it that you're looking at when you do law, look at go approach somebody that is doing that has done law,
So
that is
somebody-
practicing.
All right.
Yes, so that they give you an insight of what they
They
do.
day will be like.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's quite important that you get an insight of what the career that you're choosing is about. So that's why I also started a YouTube channel, a podcast, where I interview people from different career spaces, so that they talk about their career backgrounds, to give information to the kids that are still in high school, so that they understand that if you study mechanical engineering, what are you going to work as? Because some people, they look at mechanical engineering is hard labor, you know, they don't really understand it, that when you do engineering, for example, engineering, it's like more theory. So now, how do you get them to understand? And also, where do you work? Because sometimes they finish studying and they go look for mechanical engineering and they can't find anything. But when you're done as a mechanical engineer, you can become maybe like you can work in design, like designing. You can work in different spaces, but the titles, because they're different, then they don't get to understand. Yeah.
So then, would you then suggest somebody get a mentor, somebody that they can help guide them along this journey of becoming the career that they want to be one day?
Definitely. From grade 10, get a mentor that is already practicing in the field where you see yourself in. So one of my mentees told me she wants to do medicine and she wanted to do something in astronomy. So what I advised her, now because you're doing grade 11, before you really commit into doing medicine, go to the hospital, get a doctor, and shadow that doctor. She did that in December, and already now she's got contact. So now she does not have me, who does not know what medicine is about, as a mentor. She also had somebody who is a doctor as a mentor. So that's what I would advise. That you always.
It's so daunting to approach somebody, you know, somebody you don't know. I know for me, like I'm looking, you're saying get a mentor, and you hear these things, get a mentor, get somebody to guide you. But you're just like, where do I even start? Like, how do you approach somebody who you admire? Let's start there. You're first admiring this person.
Correct.
Because you're like, that's where I want to be in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So how do you approach them and be like, please, can you mentor me?
So I mean, for high school, starting with high school is quite easy, because high school, this young child is approaching you. They don't know anything, and they're asking you to be their mentor. That shows that that person is brave. They know what they want. So it also gives the person that is being requested to be their mentor the courage to mentor them, because they can see that this person has a bigger picture thinking. So what would you want to do? You would want to help them. And now moving at people of a certain age, I think it can also be, I think I've been asked this question. I'm an introvert. How do I network? How do I approach someone as my mentor? I always say, Bantu, I want to talk to Bantu. The best way to talk to Bantu is find something that can help with ice breaking. So you go and research about Bantu. What does Bantu like? What is it that we have in common, right? Because you want to have a flowing conversation, and what can give you a conversation that flows is something that you have in common, and that's where you start. The best way to start a conversation is to compliment someone. Compliment them, and after compliment them, then tell them about what you what you have in common. Not really like, I see you do this and I also do that, because I can also be, this person is stalking me. You want to avoid that as well. But you must have a nice approach to say, I see you are busy with like maybe a project on shoes, and that's actually very nice. Also passionate about giving back to the community. So I think really, if you need maybe maybe then if they need support in some areas in part of their project, they can also approach you. Offer. Yes. And to also introduce yourself it is quite important to tell a person who you are, where you are now, and what is it that you want in the future. Yeah, so it's quite important.
You see, I wish we could learn these things in life orientation. You know, that's something we did in school. Some of them, these subjects need to be reviewed, because we need assistance in these things. But don't worry, listeners of Link FM, we've got you here on Reaching Higher, because Khodani will be sharing more insights week upon week. And if you have anything that you want her to share on in terms of career guidance or career insights, maybe even like finding a bursary, finding an institution that will be aligned to where you see yourself in the next 10 years, she'll gladly give you that information information, because I know how passionate she is on this. So Khodani, today you were just, letting us know your backstory of how you came about to this, of wanting to guide others or share your knowledge and what you've learned in your career journey. And also, one thing that we can take home today is, if you are seeing yourself as somebody in 10 years' time, get a mentor, for
Correct.
example. Get somebody that will help you, along this journey, because sometimes along the journey you might get a hiccup or you might get stuck. But if you have somebody to be like, by the way, or can I, get information or get what I'm looking for, advice on how to navigate this part in my career. Mentor is very, very important. Now can a mentor be somebody that is your same age, or is there a certain caliber of person that you can look to when you get a mentor?
So when you say the same age, I'm not sure if I understand. Like same age, same level.
Say for example, now I'm working within this space. I'm already in this career, but now I'm looking up to my colleague in this space. Would that also work?
Sure, it can. I mean, if there's something that you admire about them, and you feel like you need to improve in some areas, and they can be able to guide you, definitely you can get that. I think we can have a whole session about mentorship, on how to get a mentor, because that's another topic on its own. How do you go around saying, can you be my mentor, which I read from Lean, one of the best book I've ever read. Before, it talks about, don't go around asking for, can you be my mentor, can you be my mentor. You need to have like a more approach, because mentorship is not just about the mentor giving. The relationship has to feel like a give and take relationship. Yes. So I think we can have like a whole discussion.
I love this, and this is what we need in this day and age, because we don't want to be, in the same level in all areas of our lives. We need to grow. At the end of the day, we need to grow and be people that aspire to be better people. So Khodani, would you also just share briefly what we just shared on, and what other things that we can look forward to for this segment going forward, just briefly for the listeners, so that they can also look forward to what's next for you here at LinkFM?
Yeah, I mean, defining the why is quite important. With everything that you have to do, you have to define a why. So that's something that we're going to look into. Creating your CV. I mean, now we've got the application tracking systems where a lot of people have been applying for jobs, but they're not getting any callbacks, and they don't know what is wrong. Whereas most companies have moved from like the olden day method, where they do like a manual reviewing of CVs. Now they used this artificial intelligence system, and because of the information or the template that you have on your CV is not matching what the artificial intelligence has, then your CV gets rejected. So we're going to touch on that. The sequencing of the CV, quite important. We're going to touch on that. How to structure your career how to create a roadmap in your career, very important. If you starting your career now as a graduate, looking at a lot of students have finished their university, they're going into the workplace, and when they get there, they get sent around to make coffee, to print out papers. Instead, how you see yourself in the future, but how do you then define your career from when you enter the company to going up? I always say, defining your career, look at where you want to be in the future. So now you're starting as an intern. Do you want to become a manager? Then how do you define your roadmap to get there? So we're going to look into that as well.
But then, can I just ask, what if I am a manager right now? So then do I look into becoming the CEO, for example?
Definitely. And I'm doing a lot of career coaching lately, and I get people who have like 20 years of experience consulting that, look, I've been stuck in this position. I don't know what else to do. So now I give them tools and resources to
Nice.
restructure their career.
This is
their
beautiful.
career. So, which is, I mean, we all need that.
We do.
Revisiting of, going back to the drawing board and
Yes.
just redo our.
Because I mean, this is what you're going to do on a daily basis. This is your 9 to 5, basically.
Correct,
So you want to be
correct.
filled with joy when you do it. You want to be
Yeah.
filled with so much excitement and oomph and let's go. You know, you don't want to be like, oh, it's Monday and
Sure.
I don't want to go to work. So these are the type of things that we're going to be discussing on this feature. And Khodani will be back at 11:15 on Mondays to share these insights. And if you, as a listener, have any insight that you want her to empower us on, equip us on, to give us insight on, and career guidance on, please, you're more than welcome to WhatsApp us in the studio. The WhatsApp number being 0729429270. Thank you so much, Khodani, for coming today. And we gladly are looking forward to the next couple of weeks with you as you share insight into, career guidance and career insight and how to, align ourselves, and so that we can be marketable as well. Some
Correct.
people find themselves in on the market or looking for a career or for a job, but yet they're not getting employed because of the CV, for example. It's
Correct,
it's not put on a template that's correct. So these are the type of things that we're going to be talking about and sharing on this feature on a Monday. So thank you so much once again, and we'll
Thank
see you next week.
Thank you for the opportunity, Monty.
How was that?
That was amazing. Oh my gosh.
You see? You see? You see?
I did my first radio show, guys.
You see? You see? You see? Was that fine?
Oh my gosh.
You won't be nervous then?
Yeah.
So it's basically me and you chatting.
Yeah. No, thank you for making it
And
so
then
easy.
what
as
we'll
well.
do is when people send through messages,
Yeah.
we'll just have a question. It'll just be a question.
Oh, that was
So it's
amazing.
me and you interacting, and then the listeners are listening in.
Yeah. Oh.
So don't be afraid. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mrs. M. Someone is saying you are humble, climbing up the ladders.
Look at God. So we'll gladly do that again next week, Monday. And